we are spending so much more time together because of this COVID-19 crisis that I have been doing Facebook Lives every day this week with different experts to help you learn new things to make life better for your pets. And today I'm super excited. I have saved the best for Friday. So I've been really excited to talk to our guests today. And let me just give you a tip on what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about how you can make your dog smarter with toys. Now, brain games are a super, important technique to keep dogs active and to help dogs build problem-solving skills. And we have the perfect guest here to talk to us about that today. If you don't know me already, I'm Kristen Levine. I'm the founder of the Pet Living blog. And on the Pet Living blog, I teach you all kinds of things that I think will help you help your pet live a happier, healthier life. And I often bring a lot of experts on. We talk about problem solving for common challenges and just everything to make your life better with pets. So without further ado, today we're going to be talking to Jason Bloom and his dog Louie from West Paw. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kristen. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. How's Lou? Tell us about a little bit. Let's start off talking about Lou because she's beautiful, and I want to hear a story about where she came from.
Oh, she loved your compliment. She always, every time. So this is Lou. She's 2 years old, and I got her in a shelter in the west side of Montana called Hitler Pets. And they have, every spring, they have a lot of different puppies that show up just from the ranches and other areas of Montana. And I was lucky enough to stumble across Lou. And she's the perfect dog for West Paw because she chews toys, she chews beds, she chews my hats, she can chew anything. And so I had the privilege of being able to raise her while designing toys for West Paw. And it's just been such a great experience learning how to be a dog trainer and how to live with a dog. And then also having Louie train me a couple of things and help me out with my career.
That's fantastic. And before we dive into the meat of our topic, does Louie actually work for West Paw? Is she employed there?
She's not on the books and she doesn't do taxes, but she does get a lot of Zobaflex to test out. And that definitely keeps her happy. That's kind of what pays her salary along with the kibble that she earns as well.
Right. Right. And Jason, I think you probably have one of the coolest jobs ever. You get to design toys for West Paw, right?
I do. Yes. I am so lucky and so happy to be living out just one of my lifelong passions. I've been working here for the last 4 years. And before that, I've always been involved with animals, especially dogs. I've had many dogs throughout my lifetime and even worked on a ranch that raised canine units for a long time. And just can't get enough of dogs, and they have become my best friend over the years. So I pretty much get to spend all my days thinking about having fun and playing with dogs.
Oh my gosh. Best job in the whole wide world. So Louie's going to show us, well, both of you are going to show us some of West Paw's awesome dog toys, and you're going to demonstrate some brain games and some problem solving things that you can teach your dog. So where do you want to get started?
Well, let's start with this isn't a toy, but I want to talk first about flat mats. So this is kind of the perfect intro because you can see Louie is starting to lose her attention. And the flat mat is a tool that I use to help Louie understand when we're going to be doing some sort of training. And really, I started with this since the beginning. I kind of did a little bit of research, and I've had the privilege of working with different trainers through West Paw. And a lot of trainers will use what's called a placemat to help their dog understand simple commands like go to a certain place, getting them to sit, and getting them to lay down. So these flat mats, this is actually our newest model. It's our Big Sky Nap. It's made out of a really nice material that has two sides. It has a micro suede side on the top that's really good for washing off fur and dirt. And then it has a really cuddly side on the bottom that's better for the winter time. And the really cool thing about them is that they're lightweight and they're really portable. So I can take these in the car. I can bring them to the park if we're going to be doing any training over there. And they're just really easy to use in an everyday situation.
Right.
A lot of different beds as well. but she has even more flat mats because they're just so handy.
Now, Jason, I assume you can just put that in the washing machine if you need to?
Yeah, these things they have one layer of batting on the inside, and that is totally safe to wash. It's made out of recycled plastic material that would have otherwise been in the landfill, usually plastic water bottles.
Uh-huh.
And it's really easy to clean, and the only times that I've ever had to replace them have been from Louie chewing them up. So, and we have worked on that. We used to have a patch here, and Louie helped inspire us to get rid of that patch because she was chronically chewing those. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's good for R&D, right?
She is. Lou, come here.
Okay, awesome. So flat mat, super important. And it looks really cozy.
It is, yes. Louie loves it. I've even used them to sit on my chair before at work. So yeah, they're really handy. So the way that we use a flat mat is pretty much any time that we're beginning or ending some sort of game, I'll always start it on the mat. So if I want Louie to do a simple command like sit, Lou, sit, come on up. Good girl. Okay, stay, wait. Okay, good girl. So
Good girl.
on a mat is just a really good way for her to know that she's supposed to be focused during this time, and that we're training and that we're not having fun. And then that translates into the real world because I'm also able to use that to negate behavior like barking, for example. I will make Louie retreat to a mat when she starts barking in the house. So it's just a really good way to, it's a command that you can teach them really easily, and then it helps with all kinds of other positive reinforcement training.
And I would imagine that she really loves the mat because when the mat's out, she has a good time. She gets to do games.
Yeah, that she knows that it's fun time. She also spends a lot of time just sleeping on them and having a good time too. But yeah, it definitely helps her to be focused.
Great. You've got some raving fans out there. Kimberly Lewis says, "OMG, we love you guys." Carl's says, "Lou's such a good girl," and Amy says, "Go Jason Bloom." You got a fan club.
I love all my fans.
So what are we going to talk about next?
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about are pacifying toys. And what I really like to use these for are any instance where I'm going to be doing something on my own, for example, leaving the house or cooking, and I really want Louie to be calm and be able to spend her time on her own without freaking out. As I mentioned before, she's done a lot of chewing in the past, and so I really work with her using these pacifying toys to help negate that behavior. So I have two different styles that I use and that we have here at West Paw. One of the toys I use specifically for when I leave the home, and that's called the Topple. And this toy is definitely for interactive play. We recommend that we have our toys labeled as some toys are for tough chewers, some toys are for not tough chewers. And Louie is really a strong chewer, but I have trained her to not chew and swallow any toys or any small pieces. And that's really important that I trust, and I know that if I leave a toy alone with her, she's not going to chew and swallow it. But
how do you teach a dog not to chew and swallow a toy?
Well, it takes a lot of patience, and it also takes a lot of supervision. If I'm at home with Louie, I'm always watching her. And since she's been a puppy, I've always made sure to watch what she's chewing on. And if it's something that is not going to be safe for her, especially if it was a small piece, when she was a puppy, I just simply started by pulling the piece out of her mouth and saying, drop it. And so that's her word for dropping anything that's in her mouth. And she's since learned that she just shouldn't chew on small items. And then as she became older, if she chewed up a toy and it was broken, I would take the toy away and immediately replace it with a similar toy so that she knows I'm not punishing her. I'm just giving her something better to chew on.
It's a trade-off.
That's right. Yeah. She should never be punished for something that she doesn't understand.
And that you said that toy is called a Topple?
Yep, this one is called our Topple, and it comes in two different sizes. This is the big dog size, And then we have another small dog size, and they actually fit together to create a Uber toy that can help conceal toy or treats and make the game even more fun.
That's clever. And you said you would categorize the Topple as kind of a pacifying toy for when you're going to be leaving the home to go to work or run errands or whatever.
Yeah, I trust Louie, so I'm happy to leave this toy alone with her. It's my go-to, and it really helps her with separation anxiety. So she hasn't really become anxious when I leave the home because since she was a puppy, I've always been giving her this treat when I leave. And she knows that as long as she's a good girl, she's going to get some sort of treat when I leave.
You can tell she loves that.
Oh, yeah. And she's chewed it up just a little bit, but it still works for her. And the great thing about our toys is if any toy gets chewed up, you can send it back to us and use our Love It guarantee, and we'll send you a brand new one.
Really? I saw the Love It guarantee on the website, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was just you had to, if you don't love it, you can send it back. But even if she chews it a little bit?
Yeah, and the way that it works is it's a join the loop cycle. So we'll take the material and grind it up. We'll wash it. We make sure that we wash them and sanitize them, and then we can regrind them and use them to make more toys. So this toy would have already been enjoyed by a dog just like it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Okay.
So, okay, great. So what's that other one you got there?
So this next toy is called the Quizzle. This was a toy that we developed my first year working at West Paw. And this toy is specifically designed for longer treats. If you're familiar with a Billy stick, this is my favorite treat. And what it does is it lengthens the life of these treats by protecting most of it, and it leaves access for some of the treat to be enjoyed on the side. And really, when we made this, we had people's wallets in mind. We were really thinking, how can we reduce the amount of treats that people or money that they're having to spend on these bully sticks? And really, we wanted to protect them so that dogs could chew them and they would last a little bit longer. And then also, it increases the amount of engagement time. So it helps Louie to be engaged.
Louie says, "Can you please give it to me now?"
I know, she's been waiting since Wednesday for this.
I think that's brilliant because, bully sticks are not inexpensive, but dogs love them. And I love to buy them for my dog, Chili, but, I don't buy them very often because for that very reason.
They're an expensive treat, but they're kind of essential too because they help your dog to use those back teeth. They're chewing on it. Louie is always holding it with her paws and chewing on it with her back teeth. And I believe that helps to break up whatever kind of grime might be building up on her teeth, especially if you aren't able to brush your dog's teeth every day. Now they're saying more than ever that that's really important for a dog's digestive health and their stomach, and then just helps to lengthen the life of your dog in general.
Right. Got some more fans. Nanette says, "Beautiful dog." Casey says, "Good girl." And then we've got Rita saying hello from the Netherlands.
Rita is she's the inspiration behind all of this. So
that's awesome. Glad you could join us, Rita.
All right, lay down. Okay, so one thing I'd like to speak to about the Quizzle is that we get a lot of questions about how do I figure out the right size bully stick for my Quizzle. And my answer to that, I have two suggestions. So one, take your Quizzle to the pet store and actually bring it inside and just go up to all the bully sticks and you can see which ones are going to fit in. And I would recommend picking one that you can get into the Quizzle without too much effort. We have had some people that have gotten bully sticks stuck in their Quizzle. Make sure it's not too stuck. And then my other suggestion is there's a variety of ways to put a bully stick into the Quizzle. One of my favorite ways
look at that.
Pushing the bully stick out on the side and letting it rest along the toy. So there's a little bit more exposed, and this actually helps to grip the bully stick in there a lot longer. And so we can chew on it for a lot longer when it's kind of in this position, and then she's not able to pull them out as easily.
Right. Yeah. And is that a smaller Quizzle behind you?
Yes.
For smaller dogs?
One other size in our Quizzle, and I actually use both sizes for Louie because it's a very durable toy. And also I really trust her and know at this stage, if I'm going to give her a toy, she's not going to chew it up and swallow on it. But yeah, these are really good and they fit. There's even a shorter size bully stick. There's like a 12 and a 6-inch one. So these are really good for the 6-inch one.
Great. Okay. So we talked about the topple and the quizzle.
Okay, so those
What
are
else?
pacifying toys. We also have 2 other pacifying toys that are really great, and you can find them on our website, and they work in a similar manner. These are just my 2 favorite ones that I use at home with Louie. So that's pacifying. The next thing that I want to talk about would be brain games. So we talked about how the mat can be a really great tool for helping with that reinforcing training that you're working on, some of that intro level training. The pacifying toys are really great for helping with separation anxiety and just giving yourself a moment and allowing your dog to be more independent. And brain games are really good for making your dog think like a problem solver. So Louie has always been a really strong chewer. And one thing that we've worked on since she was a puppy is trying to get her to chew on the right things and the right things.
Isn't that always a challenge?
That is, yeah. And it's really not her fault. So the most important thing is teaching Louie how to know when she's playing a game and what things are hers. And I really believe that these brain games do a really good job of making Louie think differently about different items. So, Lou, we're going to take your bully stick away just for a second.
Time for a brain game, Louie.
Yeah, and we're going to play one of your brain games. So, this first game, and I'm so happy that Rita is tuning in because she actually taught Louie and I how to play this game.
Oh, cool.
What we do is we have a muffin pan. For bigger dogs, you can use a muffin pan. For smaller dogs, you can use an egg carton. Really the idea is you have balls that can nest into these little holes. And then what I'll do is I'll take small pieces of treats that are about the size of my pinky nail. You want to make sure that you're using really small treats, and you want to have it be something that your dog loves. You want it to be a really great reward. And by using small treats, we're able to do this game over and over again and teach her how to do this game to perfection. So I'll use a mat, and I'll get Louie to get on her mat so she knows that we're starting the game. And you can see she's ready for this game.
She's ready. She's licking her lips.
Can you sit? Okay, stay sit. Now what I'll do is I'll move the game out in front, and in front of her, I will load some treats into the puzzle. Small treats, and this time I'm going to start by putting one in each one of the puzzles, each one of these little holes, because I want Louie to know, especially if you're just doing this for the first time, that there can be a really big reward when you play this game. Okay, so I'm doing this in front of her so she can see. And you might have to start simple right away. If your dog's never played a brain game, you might have to have it be right in front of her. And then as you get better, what I like to do is I'll actually go and hide this throughout the house so she actually has to go find it. Okay, you ready, Lou? You sit? Sit? Okay, go eat. When we play this game, it's really important that you have some sort of command to release the dog so that she knows when it's time to go. And that can translate into all kinds of different training. Just having your dog be able to wait and release on command is so beneficial if you want a dog that can have a social life and be out with other dogs. And then the next thing that we worked on was knowing when the game is over. So this is really good. A lot of dogs just want to play, and some dogs have really high energy that can ratchet up. Louie, being a bully breed, definitely falls under that category. And so when the game is all done, I actually will tell her, Louie, all done. Look, come here. Oh, she's got one more treat in there. Okay, Lou, come here, all done. Now go lay down.
Good girl.
Okay, yes, sit. Now lay down. So there we go. When the game is done, we let Louie know the game is all done, and then she returns to her mat. And Louie and I will do this either on days when it's raining or days when it's really snowy because it's really cold in Montana. And then we also might do this in conjunction with some other exercise because it really does a good job of wearing her out and getting her to use her brain is actually really tiring for her.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was playing a brain game with my dog last week, and we hadn't played it in a while. And after we played it for about 10 minutes, he was zonked out.
Oh,
so yeah, I think it's amazing how just thinking and little this mental exercise wears them out.
Yeah, that's I totally believe that. And it also helps them to know that you're engaged. So when I'm doing these games, the idea isn't that I'm just going to set Louie up so she can do it and I'm going to go off and do something on my own. I really want Louie to know that I'm interacting with her, and that helps her to learn a little bit better and become engaged in what she's doing. And I found that even if I take a step away, she can become uninterested in the game just because I became uninterested in the game. So
Sure.
This is a really good opportunity to bond with your dog and build some connection in a fun way. And then it also helps to make her have some better behavior and become a little bit smarter and make better decisions.
Sure. And we have a good question from Alina. She says, what if you have 2 dogs?
Okay, so if you had 2 dogs, my recommendation to you would to be start out doing this independently. So if you have a yard or if you have another room, I think it's really important that you first teach each dog how to play the game on their own, because you don't want this to turn into a competition, especially with food.
Right.
One thing, I have lived with other dogs while living with Louie, and she especially is very playful and wants to play with dogs all the time. And so it's just really tough to train 2 dogs at once.
Sure.
So if you had to do it, my one suggestion would be to make sure that you can make it as equal as possible. So 2 mats and 2 separate brain games. And I would even go as far as to maybe separate the mats with a good amount of distance and have one dog going off in the brain game towards one direction and then the other dog going off in the brain game, and even release them at the same time. So it's very difficult to do, but if you have really well-trained dogs, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, and it might start out where, just like if you have 2 kids, they might want the opposite game that the other one has, even if they're the same, right?
And if you're really just starting out, that might it might set you back a little bit further than if you were to just try it out with each dog independently and work your way up to working with both dogs.
Sure. No, that makes sense. So let's see. We talked about brain games. We talked about the Quizzle, the Topple. Were there any other West Paw products that you wanted to show us?
We have one more game, and this is one of my favorite games because Louie loves creativity. She gets really bored. I think even just sitting right here, since we've already done this video before, she's like, what are we going to do next?
Right, so, she is bored.
Yeah,
she's like, just too good at all these games.
Yeah, she would rather have them be a lot harder. So the next game that we have is called a treat ball. And this is a really awesome toy made by JW Pet. It's very pliable and soft, and it has a minimal scent to it. And I love it because you can put other toys inside of it. So what we do with this game is I've actually cut out a small section so that I can fit my hand in the toy. And I was inspired by Louie, who actually chewed this toy up in small sections when she was a puppy. And so what we did was we started to put toys inside of it and create a new game. This is called the treat ball. So I'll take a regular treat toy. You can use one of our Topples or a Quizzle. If you don't have any West Paw toys, you just take a toy that you can put treats in there and start by putting that toy in there. And then I just get creative. I'll take some floppy toys, some plush toys, and use that to kind of plug up the hole in the Topple. And then I'll put some more Zoboflex in there. And I really try to make this a puzzle that Louie is going to be able to move around. And now I have this treat ball here.
That's so cool.
So if you want to do one more? Can you sit? Yes, come on. Stay. Okay. All right, go get it. So Louie, when she's playing this game, she's learned that this is about moving around and also it's about being a little bit more precise. So it really helps her to think, how am I going to take these apart and get at that treat without destroying the toy? And what I love about this game is it really, instead, with other toys, she might just be inclined to start chewing on it and chomping it right away. And with this toy, she really has to spend some time trying to figure out how she's going to take this apart and how she's going to get that treat out of there. And oftentimes, she'll keep playing even when the treats are all out of there as well.
Would you call that a more advanced brain game?
Yeah, this was one that she definitely had to do. We worked our way up from the muffin pan to doing some more hide and seek. And then I started working with these new puzzles. So just kind of organically, we got to this later. And
right.
Other trainers and would definitely recommend that you start with things that are a lot easier, and that helps your dog build confidence. So right in the beginning, when you're starting out, give them lots of treats. Start with the muffin pan. That's a lot easier. And then as they get more confident and figure out that puzzles involve fun and treats, then they'll just, it's really endless what you can do. They're so smart.
That's fantastic. And, you know, this is just so good for your dog, mentally, physically. It makes them better behaved, gives them something to do when they're bored. I mean, it's all upside.
Yeah. And Kristen, sometimes I'm too tired or I might be a little sore to go outside and play tug with her. So this is a really great option. If I come home and I'm just wiped and we can't go for a walk, if we can play 30 minutes of these brain games, Louie is pooped. So it's a really great option, even if you're just a little bit too tired to play.
And then one more question before we start to wrap up. Would you say when you're first starting the brain games, what's the length of time that you would recommend that you spend with your dog in the beginning?
Well, if a dog is brand new to these games, no matter what age, I would recommend probably keeping it under 15 minutes. And that's of total time. So if you sat down and had your dog go through 3 rounds of this puzzle, that would be good. And then you could maybe take a break for an hour or two and revisit. And then another huge thing that every trainer has always reinforced with me is that make sure that you know how many treats you're giving Louie. So I'm using just a little piece of dried lung, and it was probably about the size of the palm of my hand when we started. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that when I give her kibble later, I'll subtract a little bit of her kibble because she's getting some of this nutrition through these treats.
Sure. Well. Yeah. And I think it's a good idea too, when you start out with the maximum amount of treat you want to give them, you just kind of set that aside and that's all you have to work with for that day or that session, right?
Yeah, I'll just fill up my pocket with some treats, and I have a pretty good idea of how many it takes for like a half hour of training, and that's all we will get for that little bit. So we ration them out.
Fantastic. Well, okay, so westpaw.com is where you can find, well, I assume you don't sell the muffin tins, but
muffin tins, no.
But the Quizzle and the Topple and was it the Zogoflex?
Zogoflex, yes.
And the mat. What's the name of the mat again, Jason?
Our mats are called the Big Sky Nap.
Okay, Big Sky Nap. So those are all available on your website. And I noticed you have free shipping if you order a certain amount. And then there's the Love It Guarantee.
Yep, right now we have free shipping and we have our Love It Guarantee on all of our products. And really what that is anytime dogs are going to chew things up and maybe even just be not interested in certain things. So you can always send our product back. And our customer experience team is so great at helping you get the right product or get your product replaced. And our Zogoflex, which is in this Join the Loop program, we will actually regrind that and recycle that and turn that into more toys.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a great program. You guys are awesome. And I've been a fan of West Paw for many years. And I'm glad that we finally got to meet. And maybe we can do this when you launch new products. Do you have anything in the works right now?
We launch products every spring and then at the end of summer. So this year we'll be launching some awesome new tree toys that we're really excited about, and some other really exciting things that are coming out at the end of August. So if you wanted to touch base around then, we'd love to share some new puzzles and also some other great things that we have in the works.
Oh, fantastic. And then Amy has a message here. She says free shipping until Sunday using the code made by us on westpaw.com. Thanks, Amy, for popping that in here. That's helpful. Hey, where'd Louie go? Louie, come back to say goodbye. Louie's like, I need a break.
She's actually going into Spencer's office right now.
Is she? She was fantastic. And what a great, hi Louie, what a great spokesdog she is for West Paw.
Oh yes. Hey, come here. No, come here. You want to say goodbye?
Yeah, let's see your pretty face.
It's later.
Good girl.
Good
Good girl.
You so much. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. And
yes.
all the West Paw fans out there. We really make these toys and products with love because we want you to have a great, joyful connection with your pets.
Yeah, we can tell your passion comes through the airwaves. So thank you so much for joining us today, Jason. Thanks to your camera lady there. She did a great job.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. And we'll stay in touch so we can do this again when you have the exciting new toys coming out.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Same to you.
Okay. Bye now.